More money is why most people never get rich. And that sounds wrong, because we're taught the opposite. Think about someone you actually know, not a billionaire, not someone on the internet, someone normal. They didn't mess up. They didn't make bad choices. They did what you're supposed to do. They got the raise. Then later, the promotion. Then eventually, the better job. And when it happened, it felt real. At first, everything changed. They moved. Not because they had to, because they finally could. They upgraded the place, the car, even the groceries. And for a while, they breathed easier. That feeling matters because it feels like progress. It feels like things are finally working. For the first time, it feels like you're ahead. Not rich, but ahead. And that's when something quiet starts. Not dramatic, not obvious. Nothing goes wrong. Nothing breaks. Nothing collapses. Life just settles. The new income stays, but the feeling doesn't. The apartment stops feeling new. The car just becomes the car. The upgrades stop feeling like upgrades. They're not bad. They're just normal now. And normal is sneaky. Because normal feels permanent. Not immediately. Not in a way you notice. Slowly. Bills adjust. Insurance adjusts. Spending adjusts. Expectations adjust. Not because you're irresponsible, because life expands to meet what's available. And within a year, sometimes less, they're back in a familiar place. Not broke, not struggling, but not safe either. They're managing. Again, that's the part people don't talk about, because managing sounds fine. But it doesn't feel fine. It feels tight. It feels fragile. It feels like one thing going wrong would matter. At first, more money helps. That part is real. Then it becomes normal. Then it stops being enough. And then, quietly, it starts working against you. Because now more things depend on it. A lease, a payment, a standard you didn't even consciously choose. You didn't decide to lock yourself in. You just kept saying yes to what came next. So when the next problem shows up, a slowdown, an emergency, a bad month, you don't feel calmer. You feel heavier. Because more of your life is resting on that income staying exactly where it is. This is why people at completely different income levels say the same thing. They just use different numbers. At one level, it's rent and groceries. At another, it's mortgages and tuition. Different scale, same structure. That's why someone earning well can't step back, even when they want to. They can't experiment. They can't pause. They can't take a risk that might actually change things. Because too much would wobble. Too much would crack. They didn't become careless. They became locked in. And that's uncomfortable to admit. Because from the outside, they look successful. People congratulate them. People say they're doing great. People say they made it, but inside, it doesn't feel like freedom. Here's the part most people never hear. Not because it's hidden, because it's uncomfortable. More money doesn't buy freedom. It raises your baseline. Once you're living at that level, going backward stops feeling like an option. Not because you failed, but because the system you built expects you to keep feeding it. So earning more doesn't remove dependency, it upgrades it. That's why people who made it often feel trapped in a way they can't explain. They don't hate their life. They just can't stop it. They can't pause and ask, what happens if I don't earn this next month? Because the answer isn't theoretical. It's immediate. They did everything right. They followed the plan. They earned more. They upgraded responsibly. They didn't go crazy. They built a life that looks stable. And in doing so, they built something that only works as long as they keep earning. That's why the people who did everything right are usually the most confused. Not angry, not reckless, just confused. Because it still doesn't feel like freedom, and it was supposed to.